Come on, Milwaukee, let's put our hands together. Let's put our hands together. Let's do something. Let's work together. Hey, I'm Rahim Islam, and you're listening to Universally Speaking with Rahim Islam as your host. Good afternoon, Milwaukee. I hope all is well. I hope things are better. One of the things that I'm constantly pushing and trying to encourage, especially with the leaders of the community, is to have some hope. If we don't have hope, then what do we have? I mean, we're paralyzed, and that's just not good. We have to pay tribute and pay homage to all of the great people who have come before us, our ancestors. They sure had hope. I mean, if they didn't have hope, then where will we be? Where will we be today? Facing a system that has crushed us, nearly crushed us, and has kept us in a situation where we are constantly playing catch up. So as we do with this show, we try to start our show by paying tribute to our ancestors by doing a digital libation. And so I like to do that digital libation with you guys and with the audience and let you know why we're doing it. We're doing it because, as Marcus Garvey say, a people who don't know their history is like a tree without roots. And the trees that are without roots, the trees that have the very strong roots, are the trees that can produce the benefit for humanity for a long, long period of time. The trees with the small roots or without roots or smaller roots or thin roots or weak roots are here today and gone tomorrow. And they cannot produce the benefit that we need. And the tree is like the human being. If you look at the tree, you look at the physical makeup of the tree, it gets its resources from two sources. It gets its resources from the sun. It gets its resources from the sun. For the sun and the light of the sun is able to pull out and energize and resource that tree so they can grow and produce whatever it is that is producing, whether it's shade, whether it's fruit, whether it's some kind of component and benefit for humanity. But it has its deep roots into the earth, and it gets the minerals. It's in the dirt. It gets the water. It gets access to the things that are necessary to grow itself. We got too many pure people who trying to grow things. I liken them trying to grow a tree in sand. You don't see nothing growing in sand. You need dirt. You need absolute dirt to grow something that's going to have any meaning and any benefit to humanity. It has to be in dirt. So we get the combination. We get the combination of the high level, of the spiritual level, but we could not achieve the spiritual level without being placed in the dirt. And so what we have to do is recognize our ancestors and connect our ancestors to our future, which is what we have to do if we're going to be successful. We have to connect our ancestors to our future. We have to do it spiritually, and we have to do it structurally. Spiritually is when we do our libation. But it should be factored in your family life. You should be honoring your ancestors in your family. You should be honoring your elders in your family. You should be honoring your elders in your community. This is how you do it structurally. You should teach your children to love your grandparents and your great-grandparents even more than your parents. I know that's pretty difficult for some of you. But this is what you have to do in order for us to create the balance between those who are ancestors and those who are yet to be born. So what we're doing is taking a page out of our African culture, which is the greatest culture. That's a great concept, a great culture that we have access to. But if you don't know it, you won't have any idea. You look at it as some barbaric or some kind of witch hunt or voodoo or something. But it's nothing further from any of those kind of things. What it is, it's an acknowledgement of us as one people, and that we are a continuum. And that continuum will continue, and if done right, we'll be able to address some of the issues that we face as a community. So I like to pay homage to our ancestors. And the more and more I listen and look and read and study about what we've been listening today about the Tulsa situation that happened in the early 20s. It wasn't the first time that one of our cities, black cities, been burned down by racist white people, angry mobs that are either hang and lynch numbers of our people. I was reading an article about Memorial Day and how one of the first groups that organized Memorial Day is the lynchings of black military people who came back after the war. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that's in our history, and if we don't know these things, so we can elevate ourselves. We can be proud of who we are and try to walk in the footsteps, in the shoes of these people who've seen this thing directly, who were threatened with their lives. Not only did they make tremendous sacrifices to this country under extreme and severe hardships, but they kept hope alive. They kept hoping that there would be a generation that will come, this generation, that will make it better. And so that their suffering would not be in vain. So we pay homage to our ancestors who struggled on the massive, vicious transatlantic passage. That if you read the history about this passage, then you gotta give it up for our ancestors who made it through. Some were so it was so bad for so many of us that they even jumped off the ships. They'd rather be eaten by sharks, be delivered the way they were being delivered into a place of unknown. And they creep back and back and back to the other populations of Africans. That what was in store for them wasn't pretty, and it wasn't. So we pay tribute and honor those who died. There's no tomb for them. There's no gravestone for them. They're unknown. Many of them in the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean. Many of them were thrown in the Atlantic Ocean because they died on board. Nearly a third of them. We pay homage to them. We pay homage to the men and the women and the children who were born in this enslavement, this American institution of slavery. Yes, the American institution of slavery. That's exactly what it was. It was an institution owned and modeled and perfected by Americans that wreaked havoc on millions and millions of black people for over 300 years. Struggled, losing their dignity and their lives, their possessions, and being born in slavery and dying in slavery. We pay homage to them. And then when we're finally emancipated, we get to stuff like the Tulsa stories, the Washington stories, the mass riots against our people, using every institution to deny us equal access in America. It wasn't enough that we walked out of slavery with nothing but the shirts on our backs. No 40 acres, no mule, nothing. For nearly 300 years of service, it wasn't enough that we were economically behind, but yet we were able to manage, and many of us was illiterate. Didn't know how to read or write. But yet those challenges didn't stop us as a black people. We prevailed. We moved out of that condition into a conditions and improved conditions where our literacy improved. There's nothing in history that shows the amount of gains, the literal gains that were made from the periods of 1865 to about 1950 for black people. So we give honor and we pay homage to those black people who lived under those conditions and survived and prevailed and prospered and thought of themselves as a community, thought of themselves as one unit. Not what we have today, everybody on their own, doing their own thing. And we pay homage to them with the hope that their resting place is peaceful, that their resting place is spacious, that their resting place is paradise, that their resting place is heaven, however you want to call it. But it reflects the reward for such a suffering, struggling life in this dimension. So we pay homage to all of our ancestors, and we ask that you do the same thing. And we ask that the Almighty Creator give us the courage and the discipline, the wisdom, and the commitment that they had, and that we also be able to pass that on to our children.
I say.
So we do all that in the name of our ancestors. So I have with me here who just popped in.
The ancestors carried
She just popped in out of nowhere. But no, that's my co-host, Ptosha Davis. Ptosha, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Rahim. You sounded awesome.
Oh yeah?
I've been listening to it. Yeah, I've been listening to the Digital Libation as I was driving over. My apologies for not being here to intro the show, but you did an awesome job.
Well, apologies not accepted.
Okay.
There's
Shall
no excuses.
Shall I leave?
No,
you
don't
cannot
leave.
quit.
No, don't leave. No. Don't
You
even
did
think.
an awesome
Don't even
job.
think about that.
So now I do know that you know, yeah, you did an awesome job.
Oh well, thank you very much. This is all psychology, right?
No,
Yeah,
I
psychology.
really was like, wow, go Rahim, go Rahim.
Yes, I think there was a I was doing a video. I was preparing a video
Yeah, I was watching. I watched it.
for our community, and many of the issues were in last week's article, and message to the black community: progress can only be achieved through organizing. And so I wanted to, even though the memorial piece was, I don't know, we got a chance to talk about it. Did we talk about this at all?
We did not get a chance to talk about this.
Okay.
Because we had so many guests on the show on Friday.
Oh, okay.
So actually, I would like to talk about this before we even get to this week's, because this is really timely. It's
And the article is that we must make Memorial Day memorial every day.
Yes.
And if we understood
Memorable.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Sister English teacher. Let me I make up my own words sometimes. So so don't. And I got my own. I do my own dictionary. So
Okay.
I should put out my own dictionary.
Yeah, we can call them Rahimisms.
Yeah, Rahimisms. Yeah, right. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I can think that might work. But anyway, so we have to, if we understood. First of all, I say that the black soldier in all of the wars, going back to the revolution
Mm-hmm.
in 1773, 74, all the way up to, I guess, the Iraqi war, I guess was the most.
Yeah, I guess. If you
Well,
want
but I wouldn't even go that
evidence,
far.
yeah.
I would go at least as far as the Vietnam War.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you ever heard that song by Stevie Wonder, "Standing on the Front Line."
Oh, yeah, where he talks about the
Yeah,
soldiers
and then-
coming back.
And then on the back, we're standing on the front line of the war, but on the back line
line.
when it comes to getting ahead.
That's right.
So I would say all the way up into the Vietnam War, where, and not to take any away from all of the veterans and anybody who passed in those subsequent wars,
Okay.
but those black soldiers are the greatest soldiers on the planet.
Yeah.
The greatest, bar none.
Fighting for a country that wouldn't even fight for them.
Well, and fighting and giving their lives.
Yeah, not just fighting, but
giving their lives. And so that's what Memorial Day was all about. So if you're gonna make Memorial Day memorial, is that right? Memorable. Damn, I can't get it. Damn. If you're gonna make Memorial Day,
if you want to remember Memorial Day,
what was I trying to say? I was
you was trying to say that.
Yeah, I was twisted. Well, when you gonna remember, like, make it go back to elementary school.
If you want to remember Memorial Day,
right? You got to be organized. We have to be organized, just like the libations. I mean, why do you think we're doing the libations? First of all, fundamentally, we believe in it. We believe that we gotta honor our ancestors, and we got to ask for that spirit to be in place in us, to be invoked into. How can we get it? How can we get it back? I mean, do you think our people, our ancestors, were wimps?
No way.
You think they weren't smart? They're dealing with a cunning, very dangerous opponent. Very dangerous. It wasn't enough that, I mean, you can imagine a people enslaving another people. I can see if you enslave a people because they were,
Because what?
Well, because maybe war.
Oh,
I mean,
okay,
you in a
prisoners
war.
of-
Yeah,
prisoners
you
of
take
war.
prisoners of war. But then after a certain time, you like say, well,
Right.
I can't. I got to give you guys up.
Back,
Yeah,
right.
you going back. Yeah, going back.
We're gonna release
We're
you.
gonna release you because it's just too much to hold you. But that wasn't enough. Or I could see if you had a crime that was so vicious that your punishment is going to be hard labor.
And that was actually in England and in America. That was the beginning of actual slavery. If someone couldn't pay a debt, if they owed someone something, or if they committed a crime, they might have to serve
I could see slavery,
as a slave for a period
the
of time.
concept of slavery. I could see it, but not the way it was performed on us.
Well, no, because that was it's amazing that you bring this up, because this morning I thought about what type of person or people sits and comes up with the idea that we're going to go and travel to another continent and take some people from where they live and bring them back here
in brutal and
inhuman
ways.
Right, that we're going to bring them
Did
here.
you see the type of one of the things that happened with the slave trade was the explosion of shipbuilding.
Yes, the whole economy.
The shipbuilding became a huge big component. So they used ships for two things. So what do they bring ships? What do they bring back when they took slaves to America?
Oh, it's for trading. They
Right.
use it for trading.
So they
purposes.
brought something back.
goods
back
right.
to
Because you couldn't bring back an empty ship. That wasn't
it's
cost
called
effective.
ballast is water.
Right.
They would just fill it up with water. But the point I'm making is that it became part of an explosion in international global trade. Another commodity that went off the chart was steel, metal. And look at the elaborate chains,
Devices and
masks and harnesses
and
that
not
they
made
were
from
used.
this little light stuff we use nowadays.
Please.
This is made from hardcore,
No.
solid.
I mean, it's just unbelievable. So you're right. Not only to go, far place
But
and
that's just to
capture
think
a
about it.
people.
Just, I mean, for you, like you sitting right here, and you say, you know what? I'm gonna go fly or sail someplace else. I'm just sitting here. I ain't got much on my mind. I don't.
No,
got
I
much
got
to
something
do.
on my mind.
I ain't got nothing to do.
I want to make some money.
so I'm gonna go somewhere and hijack and steal
I'm gonna
some
get me
people.
some people. But see,
Some
and
labor.
So people say, "Whoa, oh, Rahim, oh, that was over. Why are you gonna bring up? Are you crazy? Are you out of your damn minds?" I bring it up because it's the same mind existence enslaving our people today. It's the same mind that exists as in incarcerating our people to the point where we're the largest incarcerated group on the planet and the largest incarcerated group of one minority on the planet. We make apartheid of South Africa look like child's play. So what is that mind? We sit around here marching and talking about the Black Lives Matter. Well, damn it, Black lives never mattered. Tell me when it mattered in this country. When we have soldiers who've died in these wars, war after war after war, only to be treated unfairly, not only during the war, but we was murdered during the war by their own soldiers, white soldiers. That's the same mind right now that people said when they sit up here around the police state of the black community, where the climate and culture is to arrest, to knock them out, to beat the stew out of them, to kill them. And you sitting up here talking about, oh, Rahim, why are you talking about slavery? I'm talking about slavery because the mind still exists. And if you believe in heaven and you believe in hell and you believe in God and you believe in the devil, we got a devil amongst ourselves. And we got to deal with it. A mind that is dangerous to humanity. And slavery was not a crime against black people. It was a crime against all of humanity. And all of humanity should pay attention to it. Because the like Michelle Alexander said, that the adaptation of slavery is morphed into something else now differently.
That's right.
But the effect, the sting of it is the same. So that's why we talk about slavery. And we're never going to forget it and understand it so we can understand that what we're dealing with right now today. That's why we talk about it. I know you bunch of people talk about, oh, you know, that's because you're stupid. You're ignorant. You should never forget your past. You should embrace your past. You should honor your past. And you should put your past in front of you if you got any sense. So that's why we talk about it.
And we have to talk about it because it has to move from being a bleep or a paragraph or a sentence in U.S.
It's hot
history.
up in here. I'm hot.
Take the hat off. Take the hat off.
My hat off. I'm taking my jacket off. I'm getting hot up in here.
Right.
Keon, I'm getting hot, man. Hey, look, I'm starting to sweat, man. Yeah, and we just getting started.
We are taking
See, that's what happens when you're not here to hold me down. See you
back, Rahim.
Yeah, I know.
Back to the light. Back
slow
to the
down.
light.
Come on, get off that roof, Rahim. Come on, talk them down. Get them down.
We are taking calls. You are listening to Universally Speaking with Rahim Islam.
I just got the number. 414-444-5250. 414-444-5250. Keon just gave me the number.
You didn't need it before.
Well, but I know because I says, Keon, where's everything at? Ptosha's not here.
But
I'm glad you're here.
If you want to join the conversation, if you have questions or comments, please call in, join the conversation. Maybe you think, slavery is something that, was no big deal and we should get over it and pull ourselves up by our bootstraps and everybody else did it and, blah, blah, blah. If that's what you're thinking, call in, join the conversation. We'd love to hear from you. I don't know if you want to really have that conversation with Rahim right now, but we will welcome your questions.
I'm good. I didn't calm down already. I took my hat off. My hat took off.
Heat. Yeah. That's where your heat from your head.
Some lady asked me the earlier day. She says, "Is it cold outside?" I said, because I had my coat on and your hat.
She lucky you left your scarf. You just forgot your scarf.
I'm from Philadelphia. It's cold outside. Yeah. I said people walking out there with T-shirts on, but
T-shirts are short.
Yeah, I know, but I got a jacket, a coat, and a hat.
I'm not gonna get in your business. You probably got on a T-shirt and thermal underwear.
Oh, not the thermal. No, not the thermal, but definitely I'm equipped.
So, this organizing. So, to transition from slavery, and we need to.
Well, the point I was making, I wanted to make sure is that if we're going to get to the point where we make, I keep having that time,
memorable.
Memorial Day on anything, are we going to really honor our ancestors? We must organize.
We have to organize. We have a caller. Caller, you have a question or a comment?
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. And turn my radio now. I just want to make a comment to Brother Rahim that what I'm basically, well, not basically, but I am on the same page he's on, and we got to get out here and do something. But what can we do to get a start? You know, I'm a brother. I volunteer my time. I do a lot of things for the community. I'm also on the radio tomorrow preaching the same thing. You know, basically, you know, we got to get together. What can we do to start to get something to say? Okay, on this particular day, this is what we're going to do. What do we have to do there? But
I'm glad you asked that. And first of all, while we're kind of making plans to create, you know, something, okay, because I love the fact that you just finished saying about the volunteering. Everybody should be volunteering and doing something. That's number one. So if we can increase, especially black men, you're needed. The absence of black men for the last 2 or 3 generations to now is starting to haunt us. Mm-hmm. We're now starting to see the effects of 2 and 3 generations of black men missing. So we're now experiencing what life looks like without a black man in the scene in a real meaningful way for the last 40, 50 years. So we're starting to see that now. So black men, go to the big brothers, big sisters, Boys and Girls Club, mentoring, anything you can do that's going to help black men. Brothers, we need you bad. So do that independently. We should increase the level of volunteerism right now. Second, if you're part of any organization, ask your leaders, what are they doing with other leaders? Are they meeting with other leaders? And if they're not meeting, why aren't they? Ask them, what are they doing within their area? For example, if they're in social, and you're in a social delivery service, and you're doing that kind of work, ask them, well, what are they doing with the other social leaders?
Social services. So if you deliver social services, have you come together with everybody else to build capacity?
That. If you're in the church, ask your pastor, are you meeting with the other pastors? Whatever you are, whatever aspect, whatever lane you're in, ask the people who are leading you. And if you're leading, ask yourselves, why aren't you not meeting with the others in your area? So if we could do that, increase volunteerism, and begin to ask the right questions amongst our leaders to push them to work together, that's a good start, because that's going to be the groundswell. That's going to be the foundation for what we call the Milwaukee Community of Leaders. And we're prepared to launch this fall. The Milwaukee Community of Leaders is going to be a replica of the Philadelphia Community of Leaders, where we are beginning to aggregate our capacities and create a 9-10 lane highway where we all end up in the same destination of organizing, strategizing, and working on behalf of our community to move the needle, which is right now, if it's not being done strategically, it ain't going to really have any really impact.
We have a caller. Caller, you have a question or a comment?
So thank you for your call, brother. Very good call. And stay tuned. We'll have more information as we talk about the Milwaukee Community of Leaders.
Caller, go ahead.
Yes, hello?
Hello?
Yes, good evening. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
You know, fantastic. Jimmy Johnson. I got a question, Brother Rahim. First of all, I said no leadership. Milwaukee Community Leadership this fall. 3 weeks ago in this column, there's no leaders in Milwaukee. That's just a comment. Once again, volunteership, I agree with them 110%. By me working with news media, I volunteer at numerous organizations because I want to, not because I have to. I do it because I lead. I'm not a follower. Number 3, slavery in now the 21st century. He got me lost on that one.
Well,
I'm just being honest, Brother Rahim.
well. I think I think it's we got to redefine leadership. Number one, first of all, volunteerism. There's no question we got to increase it. There's nothing stopping us from increasing volunteerism. We have to, because if we're going to fix the problems in our community, we got to do it. But
Right.
we got to learn what that means.
Right.
We got to learn
What that
what it
looks
means
like.
to go after. You get off work and put in the hour.
Oh, you mean we can't the revolution and
Well, I mean,
and just 8 to 5, 9
the
to 5?
revolution today has to be able to accept whatever input, whatever commitment and contribution one is willing to give.
Okay.
So that's why it's needed for infrastructure. Let's look at the socket, right? The electrical socket.
Mhm.
The electrical socket is a conduit for thousands and thousands of volts of energy,
Right.
but it's a little small piece of infrastructure.
Right.
But it allows me to take 5,000 volts of electricity. I can plug it in and I can fire up an air conditioner. I can fire up a
Don't say
refrigerator.
fire. Don't say fire.
Well, I can fuel or charge up a television,
Or cell phone.
a cell phone.
Right.
I could do so many things because that infrastructure allows me to take raw energy and be a conduit and channel it in a way now it's useful in a
Right.
practical sense.
As opposed to it's just
flying over.
everywhere.
In fact,
Right.
if he didn't have it, it would kill us because if we tried to touch it, it would burn us to
Right.
death.
Right.
Okay, so that's the same what we have to do for our community. We have to build the infrastructure so that it could power up the toaster. It can also power up a car.
Whatever
Whatever needs to be done, it can power it up. But we have to build that infrastructure. But I want to go back and question leadership, and I think we're asking too much of our leaders. Number one, and I definitely feel the brothers' pain but we got to redefine leadership. We're redefining leadership today as a shared leadership.
Right.
See, and a collective leadership. If you're looking for the person who's going to come now and lead us to the promised land,
They ain't coming.
that ain't going to happen.
Right.
So that means that person has to be charismatic. They has to have communication skills. They have to be deep thinker. They have to be a great organizer. They got to have so many things working for them, and that ain't going to happen. And so what we got to do is, I think they exist out there, but what we got to do is we got to have organization to be able to take advantage of all those different skill sets
Right.
and put them into an organization as into an individual. Many of us also lose hope because we put too much energy on our elected officials as leaders.
Okay.
Or we put too much energy into our clergy as leaders. But the reality, they are not the leader. There's no such thing as the leader, and leadership has to be collective. So what we're trying to do, and I think part of the solution, is to bring leaders together. And I'm defining leaders by people who are working on behalf of some aspect of the black community.
Okay.
So there could be people who are doctors, and they're on a mission to be a doctor, but they're on a mission to want to help black people. So they're doing their work with that intent in mind. That's a leader. There are people who run organizations, and that organization has a mission to help black people and also maybe poor people. But the
Right.
bottom line, it has a mission, and it's running that organization. That's a leader in my mind. There are concerned citizens. There are content specialists. There are people who are experts in different areas who have used their time to study different areas with the hope that they can use that information
at some
to
point.
help our people. They are leaders as well. So we're redefining leadership. The problem, though, for us, and the challenge for us, is to aggregate them into a room around a table so that we get what we call collective leadership, shared leadership,
We have a caller. Caller, you have a question?
and servant leadership.
I'm glad you brought that
servant
up.
leadership is absolutely critical. The leadership that we're talking about is not when we over somebody, that we're serving the people.
Well, I want to talk about that because the first speech that I actually ever heard you give was about servant leadership. And you probably don't remember that, but we're going to take the caller, but I do want to talk about that. I'm glad you brought that up. Caller, you have a question or a comment?
Yes, I do. The type of leadership that we have now is shared already, but the shared leadership is to bring negativity into our community. We have, because honestly, though, I mean, we have the leadership that's necessary, but we don't have the mindset in the leadership to come forth and do what's necessary for our people. I mean, man, this is really horrible the way it is situated, because everybody has fallen down for the dollar. Everybody has fallen down for comfort for their own selves. We're like a tug of war. Everybody want to be better than the next person. I want to drink better. I want to drive better. I want to have a better home and stuff like that. I mean, when I was growing up, no one was hungry in our community. Everybody was able to eat, go to whomever's house and eat and everything. Well, I'm 9 years old, so that's a ways back. But it's a pipe dream today. Nobody wants to help anybody in the black community. If I'm driving around in a Mercedes-Benz, I look down on this in a Chevy, 19-something, because my arrogance has been built up over commercialism. It's a capitalist country. But the thing is, as black people, we are oppressed by this society. So our leadership that's in place today are traitors. Bottom line, they're traitors. And it's from the which one's supposed to be the heaven, which is supposed to be the clergy and stuff like that, and also the politicians. We have been used as being the low on the totem pole. And unfortunately, it will not change unless they become fearful of the people. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for your comments, and I agree with a lot of what you said. I just don't want to cast any dispersions on anyone. What I've found I could have 6, 7, 8 meetings a day. And what I found, though, I had the same perspective that the brother did about our leaders. But what I found was that there are more people who want to see things happen, but just don't know how.
Right.
So I do take the criticism that he gave.
Mm-hmm.
But so one of the things that we have to do, I'd like to give them a pass, because we need something to hold them accountable to.
Right, an agenda.
Exactly. And so if there's no collective agenda, it's very hard for them to hold them accountable. To have them accountable to every issue facing our community, it just doesn't make sense.
Right. How can they?
I mean, you look at gun violence, you look at domestic violence, you look at incarceration rate, you look at the health disparities, you look at wealth disparities, you look at education disparities, you look at the amount of investment or disinvestment that go on in our community versus investments going on down street. I mean,
Right.
It is so many issues that we're tackling with. So what we have to do is have an agenda.
Right.
And an agenda, a shared agenda. Now we can begin to hold everybody in leadership accountable.
Right.
And until we do that, it's going to be very difficult. And the cynicism that I hear is the same that many people feel, because they do not understand. They do not understand how complicated the conditions really are. And that they see these people in positions and they're not doing anything, and it appears that these people are actually participating. Now, some of them are. Some of them are traitors, without question. But you gotta be able to have an agenda in front of them, and what are they a traitor to? Give me the specifics. For example, we have a situation where we want X, Y, and Z to happen because it's important to the black community. And then we have a legislator who votes against it.
Right. That's an issue.
That's a direct traitor.
Right.
All right? I have a situation, I've called people out for different things, or we need them to be here, and they find a way to disappear. All right? Because we need them specifically to do X, Y, and Z. That's going to be related to our agenda.
Our shared agenda.
Our shared agenda. Right. And they disappear. They're traitors. And you got to understand also, brother, that what happens is we live in America, and America is intoxicating. It could take us off track in 2 seconds. It could redefine what our purpose is in life when we don't understand and we don't have a strong background, what we were talking about earlier, to our history.
Exactly.
So we can live up. We have people right now who are going into professions or higher education and coming out, and they're poisoned by this so-called American dream that they don't even understand that for many it's American nightmare. And they don't feel it. They don't feel it. They've learned how to get around it and not face it on a daily basis. And for that, they don't understand it. So yes, they look like absolute traitors because they're in position and they still refuse. In fact, in many cases, they act like the oppressor.
Right.
I remember when I was growing up, when I got locked up, I'm 58. So they start locking me up around, I guess around 67, 68 years old, 68, 60 years, 67, 68, 69. I start getting in the paddy wagon, and the police start picking us up. When the police picked us up, about 99% of them were white. I knew it from the door. When I went down to the police station and they beat us up, 99% of them were white. And we seen a black police officer here and there, but for the most part, they were all white. Mm-hmm. When they took me down to the detention center, all the guards were white. When I went for the courts system, all of them were white. Everybody was white. It was very clear. It was
written.
It was
the bailiff.
It wasn't a black. Only thing black in there was the defendants. That's it. Period. So the entire system looked like, to me, it was consistent to what was happening to our community. There were no blacks of any power, not in political power, not in any real leadership, that we weren't allowed to work in corporations. We were denied everywhere, and this was only consistent. So today's young black person, that's a different story. So sometimes there's a black person arresting them. They go through before a black judge. The district attorney is black. They go to the court or to the prison, and the warden and the guards are black. So it appears for that black person, guess what? And the same persecution, the same oppression he's feeling, the same oppression I felt, but it's different.
Because it's being delivered.
Because many times it's being delivered by our own people. So that's what we got to deal with today. And that's some things we got to deal with going forward. We got to figure it a way. I don't have all these answers. All I know is the answer is going to lie, and that's organizing.
Well, we're going to talk some more about what organizing looks like. We're going to take a break. And I still want to talk about that servant leadership, because I think that is just so key. And it's probably one of the reasons why I'm working with you now, is because I heard you give that speech.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Well, that and a check. And a check. But
I can already say, then
you'll work for free then. You want to volunteer?
We're going to make you a slave. No, I'm joking.
You're listening to Universally Speaking with Rahim Islam on 860 AM.
Boy, slavery's nice.
WNOV.
If you the slave master.
Oh, yeah. Only if you the slave master and maybe the overseer.
Yeah, exactly.
On 860 AM WNOV, The Voice. We'll be right back after the break. With Rahim Islam on 860 AM WNOV. We're going to go right to the phones. We have a caller. Caller, you have a question or a comment?
Yes, good afternoon. My comment has to do with leadership and followers. And I think that the problem a lot of times is with as much with the followers as it is with the leaders. It seems that people don't understand that if they are a part of anything, that they have a responsibility to assist the leadership, to support the leadership, to encourage, to give feedback. So I think that it goes both ways. And also, I think that the actual creation itself will bring about leadership from the strong desire and the strong yearning, the strong working for a better way. I think that actually you'll be presented with leaders, but the leadership will arise out of the people rather than people wanting a leader to just come and get them, snap them into shape. I don't know, am I making any sense?
No, absolutely. I think the most important thing that this is a process, basically, you're describing. It's a process of a give and take. I mean, it's not in fact, leadership is an attitude. And so it's not something where I can go and take this bus and get there and then I'm at this place. It's an ongoing kind of process. And part of the leadership process is communication. And for us, and for now, we have a massive catch-22. We have to figure out how to motivate the people. And then when the people are, tired and upset and frustrated, but this is our plight. This is our challenge, and we're going to have to figure it out no matter what. There is no excuse that we can come up with.
Well, I like the concept that you have in terms of getting people together and also the servant leaders. I just want us to be encouraged to look at it both ways, because I don't want us to stand back and say, oh, well, our leader's not doing this or that.
Oh, absolutely.
To see it as a responsibility. I've seen several very qualified young people that have not gotten the support that I would feel that they should have gotten. And so that, made me come up with that idea that maybe we are being given leaders, but then we're not giving them the support and the mentoring or whatever, that we should be giving people, and we kind of like leave them out there, and they're just supposed to do everything and pull everybody up. So that was just my comment. I
Absolutely.
Just think it goes back and forth both ways. Thank you.
I thank you so much. I agree with you 1,000%. Here's what I've seen with many times with leadership. You get out there, and next thing you know, you're on your own.
Exactly.
And in fact, the very people you're asking to, you're trying to do something for, come after you. But these are all dynamics that we must deal with. This is our reality. This is our human reality. But definitely, I said earlier, one of the other calls, I don't want to vilify the existing leadership core. But what I wanted to challenge them on is to do better.
Right.
Is to, if you're not working together, if you're not working towards this solution, you're really a part of the problem. And part of the problem for us, what we need most, is a shared sense of leadership, a shared sense of responsibility. And yes, we have people out here who, at the end of the day, they go out, and take a risk, but we don't need to take those kind of risks. We need to really build our voice. So when they do go out there, they are protected, they are supported, and that this is a reciprocal kind of situation. Their sacrifices are rewarded.
Right.
Not, no, there's no good deed that goes unpunished.
Right.
So
you said punished, not
that's what happens in leadership. You become a target.
Exactly. When you step out there in front.
Exactly. So that's why we have to step out there, and it reminds me of I don't know, this for the people who know about the Three Stooges. I don't know, Keon, I don't know if you remember the Three Stooges. But when you be the line, and they were in line for the acceptance of going into combat,
mm-hmm.
And so
they step back.
Everybody was in line, and they get ready to do the pledge and everything, and so they says this line, is going to be the line. Is going to be the line. Is going to be taken into combat,
right?
And everybody else step back. So they tell you to keep your head focused, so you can't look to the side. You don't realize that everybody to the left, and you standing there by yourself. Right. So So yeah, that happens. But guess what? It's life. Some of the stuff we can't now put it in the context of specialty to black people. This is a life situation that happens, and life gets in the way many times. And so what we got to do is we got to create an infrastructure that's flexible enough to handle with life issues.
Exactly.
People who are bad characters, got bad intentions. People who
Those snakes.
Well,
Instead
not
of
only
butter
that, not only go that far, but people who are maybe, not as sophisticated.
Oh, okay.
And so, but then there might be a few snakes in the group as well. We got to be able to handle it no matter what.
Regardless, because it's all for our community. It's
Right.
all our people.
And guess what?
Other communities handle it.
Well, and guess what? At the end of the day, we can't say, oh, well, Ptosha, you held me back. Or so-and-so held us back.
Right.
Deal with it. Nothing can hold us back. Nothing should hold us back. We got to figure it out. And part of it is building some kind of infrastructure of accountability. And I think the sister was talking about we are holding them accountable, but we're not holding ourselves accountable.
Right. Which and that's good actually to hear that people do recognize that it's not always on the leader, but it's actually also on those of us who are followers. And speaking of, I told you I wanted to get back to servant leadership. The first time I heard you speak was at a rally or at something at the Universal Green Bay Millennium Campus. And the speech that you gave was a room full of people. The auditorium was full. I believe this was the first year that Universal had come here. The speech that you gave, your keynote speech, was about servant leadership. And I thought that you were going to come in and you were going to, roll out the universal plan and you were going to tell about all the great things in the school. And you spoke about none of that. You strictly spoke about servant leadership and what it looks like and what it means and why we have to have it in our schools and in our community. And one of the things that I'm most proud of is that is the culture that exists in our schools, and we're opening up new schools with that same culture. Our newest school that'll be opening in the fall is UACB Lee Campus at 921 West Meineke, which is, you can't get no more into our community than right there, smack dab in the middle. And we're starting out with servant leadership there, from the principal down to the staff. They are going out to see what they can do for the community and how to reach and meet the community and make the school be part of the community. We're enrolling at all of our campuses right now. But special emphasis, the reason why we're placing on Lee is because this is going to be the beginning of what I think is going to be a movement, not just here, I think nationally, of bringing back community schools, because I think that the school serves a purpose for the entire community and needs to be part of the community. And we are very much looking forward to UACB Campus Lee opening this fall. If you live anywhere near there, enroll your child. You will not be disappointed. Our other campuses are the Green Bay Millennium Campus, which is right on Capitol and Green Bay. We also have the Webster Renaissance Campus, which is on 53rd and Green Tree. It's our middle school. And then we have the UACB High School, which is also located at the Webster campus on 53rd and Green Tree. Servant leadership is what is taught and the culture that is woven through all of these campuses. And it starts with the leader. And Rahim, you're the leader.
Well, I think that here's where I think that the leadership, and I'm really excited about the Lee campus, and we're now in the school trying to make all the renovations to the school in preparation for September opening. So we really encourage everyone to call us and go online and enroll in the school. I mean, the movement that you're describing is using this as a catalyst for restoring and rebuilding our community.
Yes.
It was closed and mothballed, and it created a big vacuum in our community, and that has actually contributed to other issues in our community, or manifest or exaggerated some other issues in our community with the closing of that school. And now we're opening it back up. But the leadership that, probably when I was talking, I'm not sure exactly what you were referring to, but I have that conversation with a lot of staff, because two things I have to discuss with them. One is that it takes a special person to do the work in the schools today.
Yes, I agree.
A special person. And so, but don't go on this with blinders.
Right.
So there's no such thing as a bad child.
Exactly.
I mean, what we do is have bad leadership.
Exactly.
And so what I was basically trying to get them to understand is that we got to figure out a way to teach our children.
Right.
Whatever is going on.
Meet them where they're at.
Exactly. Whatever is going on. So in order for you to do that, you can't come with a lesson plan 101.
You got to come. You got to this.
No, you got to come with a heart condition.
Right. And love.
A heart condition that's susceptible to understanding the plight of these young people and having compassion that says, you know what, I'm going to figure it out. Whoever it is or whatever it is, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to figure it out today. I'm going to reach little Johnny.
Right. However I have to.
I'm going to reach him. I'm going to get him, and he's going to learn. I don't care that his mother's acting crazy and his parents are fighting right outside the daggone schoolhouse. I don't care if he is not eating well, because I'm going to get him something to eat. I don't care if his clothes are dirty. I'm going to figure out how we get him some clean clothes. I'm going to figure out how to educate Johnny, because he got one window of opportunity, and if we don't do it, the likelihood of we losing Johnny forever is a high possibility.
Yes.
So our teachers and our school is many times the last resort. It's the last frontier. It's the last place to save these babies. So they have to understand that they're serving our people. They're serving our community. Sure, they got degrees. Sure, they are educated. Sure, they're equipped to teach the average kid. Mm-hmm. This is not average, though.
Right.
And they can give up fairly quickly. I mean, it wasn't even average when I was going to school.
So know now.
But at least we didn't have nowhere near the conditions that these children are facing today. But
not
yet, the climate and order has to be in place. But it takes a teacher. It takes a school. And the administrators, I was telling the administrators, they got to serve those teachers. They got to be the servant of the teachers.
Right. So the principals, the assistant principals, the deans.
Service them. That's the leadership I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about sitting in your office and dictate, here, do this and do that and do this. No, service. What do your teachers need? I'll get it for you. If something's in the way, I'll remove it from it.
I'm going to advocate on your behalf.
I'm going to fight for you because you're fighting for those children. That's what servant leadership is. And it's also creating this modeling. If we say we're about something, we got to model it. We got to demonstrate it. We can't talk the talk and not walk the walk.
We got to be about it.
We got to be about it. So that's what servant leadership is about. Leadership is not glorified. This is not something that, that means you got to get up early, you got to go to bed late. Well, you got to do whatever it takes as a leader,
to make it
as
happen.
A servant.
Right.
And no excuses. I don't want to hear no excuses. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear. You want to hear excuses? I got a ton of them. I got a ton of issues you want to do. You want to hear? Let's match them. But the bottom line, no excuses. Leaders don't have excuses. They don't make excuses. They don't give excuses. They just take care of business.
And do what has to be done. Well, speaking of servant leadership, what better segue to introduce? We are going to dig into this column, this article about organizing, but it's a brother here that just walked in that's joining us this hour, and he knows all about organizing and servant leadership. What's going on, Biko?
How you doing, Sister Ptosha? How you doing?
Oh, Lord, he called me Ptosha.
Did I say it wrong? I always say it wrong.
Help him out, Rahim. Help him out.
I can't help you, brother. No. Ptosha.
Ptosha.
The P is silent.
Oh, man, I'm sorry.
The P is for purpose.
Oh, but you can just chop me in the neck when I walk by. Because I've been here enough where I shouldn't have said it. But I'm a visual person, and we stay in Facebook.
I know. And that's how we usually communicate is Facebook. Yeah,
but just chop me in the neck.
I ain't gonna chop you. I ain't gonna chop you. You know why? Because I know your wife, and she don't play.
No, you know my wife very well if you saying that. I'm about to get chopped. She's probably listening.
How could you go in there and call Ptosha, right?
Yeah, she gonna chop me. I'm sorry.
Nah, you good. You good. How you doing, Biko? Where you been? What's
How you
going
doing, brother?
on?
How y'all doing?
It's good to see you.
Good to see you guys in here, man. It's very spirited. When I walked in, I was like, man. Man, we need leadership, man. It's real. I appreciate everything you guys were talking about because you can't make excuses not in 2015, you know?
Yeah. Got that right. And organizing, I mean, having a whole bunch of leaders, I mean, you hear Rahim preach this. It's like having no leaders because everybody is going in 50 different directions, 1,000 different directions, and there's no agenda.
Yep.
So what do we need to do to come together to create a collective agenda so that now the leaders have something? I mean, you go back to the civil rights movement. It was very clear what they were fighting for.
Yep.
Okay? They had created an agenda. They knew what the first thing was, the second thing was, and the third thing was. Well, somehow along the way, since then, we never picked up on the 4th, 5th, 6th through 10, you know, and now there has to be an agenda created because what is it that we give our leaders, like Rahim, like yourself, to say, this is what we want?
Right. Wow. That's the $1,000, $1 million, $100 trillion question. I know that I love hanging out with elders or occasionally meeting with people because a couple years ago I was doing these intergenerational dialogues with the League of Young Voters, and we invited Dr. Howard Fuller. And he didn't say much in the meeting, and then he emailed me. He said, "You want some materials?" I was like, "Yeah." And he emailed me a thing they had been doing, I think in 1986. It was a national, from the convention model.
Oh, right.
Where all the communities had come together at Mark Plaza at the time. And they had a real serious agenda. You read through it, and it was awesome.
It was. I remember. I've seen that. I've seen that model.
And we don't have that. I think, unfortunately.
Because Polly was part of that. Polly Williams was part of that. Howard Fuller was part of that.
Everybody was part of it.
Everybody was
part of it. And I don't know what that looks like in Milwaukee in 2015 because a lot of us are serving interests that we don't even know don't serve our interests. And so, I don't know. I look forward to building it, whatever, and joining whatever's building it.
I think that's got to be, that's a little bit of the hopelessness that many of the elders have. They tried it, and they weren't successful. But, you're really not measured individually or as a people by your failures. You're measured by, every time you're knocked down, how well you get back up. And so it's nothing wrong to fail. You know what I mean? And so for some reason we've gotten a little gun shy and we're afraid to fail. But it's nothing wrong with failing. I mean, some of my greatest lessons is in my failures. But I'm still here. I'm still living. I'm still working. And now I've incorporated in many of those failures the lessons learned into what I do today. And I can tell you, hey, that ain't going to work, or put it like this, unless these conditions are met. And so part of this, what we have to deal with is the psychology of our people. And so if we try to now organize and not take in consideration the psychology.
Everything that's been endured.
And when I mean I'm talking about the psychology, I'm talking about, you know, the inherence of trauma, the inheritance of white supremacy and black inferiority, the inheritance of a feeling of hopelessness, and also some of it is our own doing. You know, we practice, and I think it was the foundation for even us getting in this condition, tribalism.
Yes.
And the tribalism in Africa laid the foundation for foreigners to come in and exploit that tribalism and create wars amongst ourselves.
Yep.
And today we see that same thing taking place even today. So we have a massive level of tribalism that amongst our organizations that are not working together. If we have to now call it what it is. But when we call it what it is, we got to be able to walk the walk. So if we're going to talk about it, we got to be prepared to say, I'm not going to practice that.
Yeah, I think that's the struggle, because it seems like we have a famine here. You know, everybody's running around. It's like a desert. Like, where's the water? Where's the water? I mean, literally. But we're in an environment in which ideas can be, you know, hatched and blow up within months and years. And today's the anniversary of the Tulsa bombing.
Sure.
And you know, when you bring up white supremacy, I think the younger generation, I don't think we understand the extent to which that still plays and is targeted, and they've had a plan for years.
Oh, wow, we were just talking about the plan.
Yeah, man, it's real.
The plan.
Because even I looking at like first of all, people don't know the march towards the legislation change in the 60s, how hard that fight was. But it was achieved by black people, white people too, but black people led that effort in some of the most oppressive conditions.
Yeah, man.
Right? And the legislation wasn't perfect. By no means was it perfect. So what happened was the enemies of that legislation, they plotted and they began to undermine that legislation. So it took at least, if the legislation was passed in the 60s, the implementation of it with fidelity took about at least a good 10 to 15 years. So we're looking at the mid-60s to the 80s. By the 80s happened, there was already plans in play to undermine it, to change it completely.
Right.
So we, during that period of time, that 15-year period of time, we had to be double down and triple down on not only protecting the integrity of that legislation, but to create new legislation.
Yeah, man.
And because of that, we let them off the hook. We let them off the hook. But all's not lost. These are lessons learned, and we got to incorporate these lessons into the generation to come. And so paying attention to our past is really important, so you can get a really good, your generation and those behind you, to get a better understanding of what they're working with.
Yeah, man.
These people are not playing, man.
No, they're not.
They're not playing at all.
I was walking around Philly a couple weeks ago, and had an elder one time just tell me about old money, and this was maybe 10 years ago. I didn't really get, like, old money, I get it. But when you walk around and know that there's generations of wealth built on slavery, and those brothers back there, the science that they were using, you know, just 100 years ago, 150 years ago, is so much that we're just now catching up to. And you know, they take that math, that ideas from us. You know, that's one reason why I think Milwaukee's maybe so hopeless, is because for so long they pushed manufacturing and this like, you know, go press stamp. And my father came up like that. Everybody came up like that. But I do see amongst the younger generation a willingness to try to hustle and be more scientific with their entrepreneurialism. But it's going to take a lot of work, because there's not a lot of capital here. You know, I don't know how do we win with no capital here.
I want to share something with you gentlemen. Structural poverty, and I'm sounding like you, Rahim. Institutional.
Don't sound like me, because I wasn't too good in school.
Structural poverty and institutional racism has produced some of the worst demographics for the black community. How did this happen? Did we forget that after emancipation, Every institution discriminated against the black family for the next 75 to 80 years. This blatant racism lasted until the so-called civil rights and anti-discrimination legislation in the 1960s. While the legislation slowed down the racism, it didn't change the climate and culture of racism that was produced and that continues today. What do you guys think?
Amen. That's real. I mean, it's real. If you look at Milwaukee, the way it's set up, I mean, they were trying to fight from us not coming here. And once we got here in the 50s, all the laws have been set up to hold us, keep us oppressed. And as soon as we think we can get to the north side, they flee to the north side, and all the capital that was there we're trying to get to leave. So, man.
Well, that's okay. Don't lose hope. Today, most American institutions now practice race-neutral policies, as if the playing field has been equalized. Some of the racist policies, public and private, have unfairly targeted the black male, while at the same time favored the black woman. Welfare, public housing, employment. And now the black family has seen several generations where the black man has been literally removed from the black family, causing the total deterioration of said family. Nearly 80% of all black families are now headed by a single female parent. This is lethal and has long-term social ramifications. Brothers and sisters, the issue of structural poverty and institutional racism has gone unchecked for too long and has and continues to wreak havoc on the black community. If this goes unchecked any longer, the damage will be permanent. The next generation of black children will be regulated to a permanent underclass in America. In my opinion, this is Ptosha speaking, another form of slavery. Mm-hmm. The structural challenges are mounting like a tsunami and range from voter suppression to reduction of tools that help to empower poor people, which the black community has a significant representation, with nearly 2/3 of the population living at or near poverty. But that's not what's destroying us. What's destroying us is our self-destructive behavior that the black community, especially its most accomplished, quote-unquote, leadership, is practicing. One of the most damaging behaviors is Rahim just talked about, organizational tribalism, where black people are more loyal to their organization, their tribe, than to their community. Gentlemen? You know, y'all. I got some of the best thinkers in the.
I just applaud whoever wrote that. Yeah.
He's a bad.
I agree. What can I say except that what is the solution? The solution is that I was with Brother Courtney a couple months ago, and he gave me a flyer. He always giving you something. He hand this and hand you this and hand you that, and I love it. Trust me, I love it. Because
knowledge is power.
Well, not only that, you see a brother who's so fired up. One of our elders is just fired up, right? So I love this. So he gave me this poster, and it says, here's the antidote. He says, in the poster, when black men lock arms, they can do anything. Mm-hmm. That's the solution. Now, it sounds corny. It sounds trivial to deal with some of these massive issues, but it's the truth. What's missing, and the key ingredient that has been removed out of our psyche, is the very thing that if we find it, is going to lead to our self-determination, and that's working together. Mm-hmm. So my job is, do not listen to any of these distractions. Do not listen to anything that comes looking like it's unity, but it's disunity. Mm-hmm. And my job is not to accept any rationale for not uniting. Challenge it. So it could look like, it's coming down this way, and next thing you know, but we can't do it. We could do this and do that, but no. And So what we have to do is lock arms. We gotta lock arms, and that means for us today in 2015. That means for us sitting around a table, working together, soberly. Now, I had a conversation earlier this day, and I want to describe what sober means. Sober means that you're not connected. You're not, while you be a part of an organization, it is not the paramount. It is not the sole thing that drives us and is the solution for everything. Your church is not going to deliver you to the promised land. Our community. Your party is not going to do it. Your club, your social network, your organization, none of it is going to produce what we need to do as a collective. The only thing it's going to do is of us getting past the paralysis of fear and the psychology of white supremacy and black inferiority for us to lock arms.
Yeah, man, I agree with that so much. That's every time I come here, I'm like, amen. Like, yep. White supremacy, white people hear white supremacy and they get so hurt, and it's destroying the earth. Unfortunately, it's capitalism run with racism, sexism just run amok, and if we don't tackle it, man, we're in trouble, and we got to do it because it's gonna I'm personally believe that white supremacy run amok will see the human species disappearing because that's how they do it. And I'm not trying to be racist. I'm just telling what's in my heart.
Well, I think one of the things that is confusing for white people, because they have also been brainwashed.
Mm-hmm.
So their lens is tainted. So, yes, they still have to compete amongst each other. Yes, in many cases, many of them are still born in poverty.
Mm-hmm.
Many of them have to fight for everything they get, but they don't understand privilege.
Mm-hmm.
They don't understand this system. They have a very limited history, just like you were saying earlier about, your generation not really understanding, but they also have a same kind of ignorance as of what their parents and their grandparents and their great-grandparents did for them to be where they are today. And they also are confused because they're integrated into the systems of control.
Yeah.
And they don't look at themselves as a group because you don't have to when you own it all.
Right. That's true.
You don't see group. They don't see the white group. In fact, they have a trouble when you start talking about you got to have a black group. Why do you guys always got to have a black group? Because you own every institution.
Yeah.
Of the $110 trillion of this the asset of America, you own $110 trillion of it. So it's very hard for them to see it. So we have to educate them too.
Yeah, man.
We're going to take a break, gentlemen. When we come back, I want to talk to you about the 3 C's. Have you heard of the 3 C's, Biko?
That ain't Rick Ross. No.
Do not go to break with a Rick Ross song, Keon.
Yeah, no, go to because I don't know who Rick Ross is.
We can't play that.
Oh, you can't?
No.
Oh, okay. Excuse me.
Sorry,
Excuse
Mr.
me.
Jones. He didn't know.
Oh, I didn't know. No. I thought Rick Ross was good. Is that no? Oh, excuse me.
You're listening to the informative and educational Universally Speaking with Rahim Islam on 860 AM.
I do like Snoop Dogg though.
Snoop Dogg.
Or Snoop Lion now.
Oh, he lied. He lied.
He's Snoop Lion. He's back to Snoop Dogg.
Depending on the situation.
Oh my God.
Biko over here, them all his homies. So I'm gonna let him talk to you about.
Hey, look, I work out with. Sometimes I can't handle it because I can only handle like maybe one song.
Because
it's
the stylistics that be behind. He used a lot of that music.
No, but they do those grooves are some deep great grooves. I mean, but I can't tolerate.
You need just the instrumental version.
Okay.
They make that. Hidden Beach. Yeah, you can just get all instrumental or whatever rap. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I need to check that out then, because those grooves are insane.
Yeah.
Him and Dre,
Dr. Dre.
See there, I'm talking. See, I'm
You
getting
turning
there.
up. You turning up.
I'm getting. See there?
Yeah,
Don't be
man.
hating on me.
I ain't hating on you.
Shoot.
We'll be right back
I'm
after
gonna
the
be some
break.
Rick Ross too.
No, don't
Without
do that.
Rick
Don't do
Ross.
that. Don't do
We'll be
that.
right back after the break. Welcome back to Universally Speaking with Rahim Islam on 860 AM WNOV The Voice. I tell you what, is it Monday or is it Friday? Because it has been it's been hot up in here. So did you get to hear some Rick Ross, Rahim, while we was on break?
Oh no, they just refused to.
Oh, they refused to.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do it on my own.
I don't know, because if you hear some Rick Ross,
I
it might take the movement to a whole nother level.
But here's the thing that people like say, okay, well, I go listen to the most extreme things, not just music, but just concepts, just to hear what people are saying and how they're saying it, because at some point I have to have an argument for yay or nay,
Right.
and
How you can't give an opinion
argue
if you ain't never heard
even
it.
heard of it,
Okay,
know.
well, I'm gonna get you
I
some
think
Rick
I think
Ross.
generally speaking, and the other thing is that we got to get a Rick Ross. Remember we talked earlier about the servant leadership,
Yes.
and we got to get to people. In spite of what they're doing, we got to figure out how to reach the people.
Well, you know what? Lil Wayne is gonna be here in a few weeks, and I'm gonna make sure that I have you have a one-on-one with him while he's here.
That might be too much of a struggle right there. I'm not ready for
You ain't
that
ready for
yet. No, give me a couple. Yeah, give me a couple.
Slow walk you
Yeah,
into
give me
this.
some local. Give me some local rappers first.
Right, you got to warm up first. Wheezy F Baby, yeah.
Hey, let me get some, and then I can deal with some
Then
of the.
you'll be able to take that.
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe.
Well, I'm just trying to help you out. That's what I'm here for. Before we went to break, we said we were going to talk about the 3 C's, and that's how Rick Ross ended up coming up because I asked Biko if he had ever heard of the 3 C's, and you and I have been hearing this concept for a little bit. And I know that now you've taken this concept and incorporated it. Do you want to should we take the caller first?
Sure.
Caller, you have a question or a comment? No? Oh, okay, my apologies. So the 3 C's. This is what the 3 C's. This means that we
And the
must,
beat goes on.
and the beat goes on. We keep it moving. That's what you said. Nothing stops us, right?
Right.
We must.
No excuses.
No excuses.
Even if it's a fake phone call.
Trying to throw us off our game. We keep it rolling. This means we must be on the path for change. The path, here's your 3 C's now. Everybody got your pencil, paper, your phone. The path is communication. This means conversation. Cooperation. Functional unity. And coordination. Strategy. You got that? So communication, cooperation, and coordination.
Yeah, we can actually we have those ingredients right now. So right now we have the ability to move this agenda with those 3 C's.
Triple C.
Yeah, the 3 C's. So one, we're communicating. Me and you we're communicating, and we're going to communicate even more because I have a date certain now that I want to bring some people together. Cooperation. I think there's a general sense. People just looking for the it. They want to know what the it looks like, and the it is the cooperation of us meeting together, sitting around the table, and then to talk about what's the strategy. What's the strategy? And what comes first? What comes second? What comes third? How do we prioritize? How do we create something that keeps us together? What are the low-hanging fruit that we can actually get some quick wins on? Those are the kind of things that's strategy. That's all strategy.
Yeah, man, I think I'm down. Whatever, like I said, anytime I'm here, you need me. I'm down. I think I bring a unique perspective, but I also know, having been out here, that it's going to take a lot of work, and we can't all do it by ourselves, So I'm down for whatever, whenever, however. I like to go.
Whenever, whatever. Oh, sorry.
That's a good song
That was
too.
a good song. I know. You know that.
No, I didn't hear the song. Say it again.
Whatever. Jill Scott?
No,
Whatever.
Oh, no, I don't know that. See, I'm
Okay,
see,
we
I'm
can go
stuck.
to break with that song.
I'm stuck. I'm stuck going. You know,
Rick Ross.
well, Jill Scott. No. I'm stuck. I don't know her music.
Whoa.
I don't. I only know like a few of the songs, but I don't really
you know. Crown Royal, don't you?
who.
Crown Royal.
I'm not sure. If I hear it, maybe.
Never mind.
But I don't know. And I know Jill Scott though. I know her.
How can you know her and not know her music?
But
That's like
let
knowing
me-
Kenny Gamble and not knowing his music.
Not really, because I always look at her as, I guess-
Jilly from Philly.
yeah, little girl, like
Jilly from
yeah.
Philly,
So
yeah.
I didn't really, but trust me, that music kind of I don't know. They still call it neo soul kind of. They have a name for it.
Yeah, I think they're trying to break that box down a
They
little
try
bit.
to, but they definitely had quite a few people that kind of.
So the Erica Badu.
Yeah,
and,
the sound, they have that sound.
what's the
kind
chick?
of
I'm not my hair.
Indy Ari.
Indiari.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Neo
R&B, soul, funk,
Resurgence.
blues, jazz, all combined into one. And so, yeah, I love it, but I don't, I'm stuck.
I'm sorry. It's okay. You'll be
I'm
alright.
stuck.
I'm gonna help you though with Jill.
I'm stuck in the 70s.
That's all right.
That's okay. Jilly from Philly.
I deviate a little bit, but not much.
Oh no, you was just talking about Snoop Dogg a few minutes ago.
He's basically
Well, that's
from
my
the
deviation.
70s. He's basically from the 70s. So
Yeah, all of his music is usually he uses the Shy Lights, the Stylistics, P Funk. All those people is what he covered, the music that he covers.
I've been learning a lot from the show on TV One, Unsung. Have you been
right.
have you been looking at those shows?
I've seen him here and there. Yeah.
They're very powerful. And I think if you put a catalog together, the other one I just looked at the other day was Rick James. Phenomenal. I mean, I didn't learn. I learned. I mean, I was jamming on his music, but I didn't really know much about him.
and you didn't know the influence he had on other artists
it's
and
just
on
it's-
music.
But
and-
he was a genius, a genius. I mean, crazy as I don't know what, but just gifted, and also it pointed to me, and you said it a couple times, and I heard you. We'll have to earn it. None of these things is gonna be a gimme.
right.
But we got the capacity, we got the skills, we got the talent, but it's definitely going to take some work. And with shared leadership, though, we can lighten the burden. So no one person has to bear the responsibility for the burdens of our entire community. But I definitely love that show with
Unsung.
Unsung, and I love the one the other day with Rick James. Rick James was off the chart, man.
Here we go. I was trying to bring you into 2000.
I know. It's hard, but you know what? But I need you
to call Jill.
I don't.
I need you to call your girl. Your homie.
Jill was working with us for about a good 3 or 4 years on a project to build the National Center for Rhythm and Blues. That's where I got to know her, and
well, me and Biko okay, so we need you to call her. We need her in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
well, you know what? I would like to
Look, Biko over there. I ain't go, Jamie. He ain't really looking like that. He really is.
He gonna
is
get
it a
me in
market?
trouble.
Is it a
You just hit
market
me
for
in the
that
neck.
music
For
here?
Jill,
Yeah,
yes.
Oh, it is.
She was so out.
So, oh yeah.
Yeah.
So that music will sell here in Milwaukee.
Oh yes.
Oh, cool.
So when we get off the show, I want you to call Jill on her cell. And
No, she's an actress now. She's probably not.
no, she's still singing.
She is.
She on tour.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Now, Biko, you
You
heard
gonna
her.
know her music now after the show. You be like, oh, that was a good song.
Be like, hey, Jill, they just turned me on. I ain't even know you had
But
a
I didn't know
song.
because I don't know what's playing out there. I mean, I don't see any acts. What acts are coming to Milwaukee?
The Lil Wayne. But it's
No,
because...
man, I'm talking about
No, I'm going
True.
to explain to you.
Yeah.
The reason why those acts like Jill Scott and things don't come here to Milwaukee is because the promoters say that the market here, they cannot make their money up front because we don't buy tickets ahead of time.
Right.
So whereas another artist would come, like Lil Wayne or who else came to the well, he's at a club, but those
that?
artists, the rappers, the young hip hop rappers, they'll come because that generation, they will buy. They know that they're gonna show up and sell them out.
So they'll take the risk. The
they'll
promoters will take the risk
because they know that the people.
But
are
the
gonna
other
sell
thing I've seen, what I've seen is kind of, which is artificial, is the Summerfest?
Summerfest.
Yeah.
So the Summerfest overprices
Oh yeah,
acts, and you got to be able to get that throughout the year.
exactly.
So you get a great, like I heard Stevie Wonder's going to be,
Yes.
and who else is going
There's
to be?
some actually
Kendrick gonna be here. Yeah.
Kendrick Lamar.
I don't know who that
That's
is.
okay. That's okay.
That's all right.
Um,
I go Google that person. Kendrick what?
Lamar,
Man or woman? A
man.
man.
But there's some great acts. But Summerfest, because Summerfest is an international venue that
Right.
people wait to play. I mean, they will play.
Yeah,
So,
but what
like
happens?
last
Though,
year, we
but what
brought
happens?
Usher.
But you if that wasn't
It
happening,
overshoots the market.
exactly. You should be able to get Usher in December or
Yep.
in March,
Right.
or you know what I mean.
But see, he's
because of that-
guaranteed.
no, yeah,
And
he's not-
Summerfest is gonna
he ain't-
sell out.
He ain't gonna come.
He ain't guaranteed
no.
at the Milwaukee Theater.
No, there's no question.
Because we don't come buy our tickets till the night of at the door.
Well, as long as you buy your tickets, we
You don't care when you buy them.
No, well, we could take that risk if you say Jill Scott.
I'm telling you, Jill. You bring
Yeah,
Jilly
she-
from Philly.
Yeah, she do well here. A lot of
Okay.
sisters love Jill Scott. I like Jill Scott too. She's talented. I
I
have
like
another
how
critique
you
of
switched
Summerfest
that
too.
off on sisters loving Jill Scott. I like how you did that, Biko. That was good.
Yeah, they do. I love her too. She's a beautiful woman, man. You're gonna get me in trouble. I know you was trying to get me back. Ptosha, I'm sorry. But my other critique of Summerfest is that they developed that whole area for 90 days worth of traffic, as opposed to opening up the whole development and putting it in places where we can access it all time.
During all year round.
Yeah, man. And then they overcharge you for everything if you're trying to do business down there as an
I
entrepreneur.
got $15 beer.
Yeah, man. It's not a good
$10
idea,
soda.
man. I think we have to, and I know Milwaukee loves like these old things that we created 50, 60 years ago, and I love them too, but we have to think about how to use the cash that we have and leverage it for
and
new
do
things.
our own.
Yeah, I'm with that too.
Yeah, do our own, because I think there could be. I mean, that's what I said. When we get around the table, and we got our talent around the table, and we got to figure out how we're gonna raise money and how we use what we have that's ours. Our culture is ours.
Mhm.
You know, music is a part of our culture, and the question is, well, how do we now market and promote it, and create ways that we can actually make money, raise money, but also do good and get the message out, and get some energy, get some traction, you know what I mean? I can envision it now, like a show that's sponsored by this group of
Milwaukee community leaders?
yeah, Milwaukee community leaders, and we putting the show on. Everybody wins.
Mhm.
We jamming, we having fun. We made a few dollars. We can put it back into the organization. Everybody's going to start feeling good about themselves because we get these little wins. That's how we're going to get the traction and keep people going. And that's what I meant when I talked about kind of low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
Oh, Biko, I know, actually, you probably don't believe this, Rahim, but it's not far from 5 o'clock. But Biko, I want to hear a little bit about what you've been doing. Some people, he left, he ain't here no more, he sold out, well, I want you opportunity to set the record straight. What it is that you're doing?
You go away for 6-8 months and you get that talk, huh? Nah, but
That's okay. Rahim get it in Philadelphia. He left, he ain't here.
yeah, he was just telling me a story that remind me a lot of home. Like I said last time I was here, I got hired by a global software company. I'm a consultant agent that helps them market and package their products both internally and for other clients. And I'm learning a bunch. I'm learning a lot.
Wow.
But I've spent a lot of my time in Ferguson working with an organization called Hands Up United. We just bought a building, got 5,000 square feet, and we're going to turn it into a tech hub and try to blast off from there. I was arrested, in Ferguson last week or 2 weeks ago.
Oh, now you and Jamie have
Yeah.
matching,
Oh, no, it's not. Well, I wasn't trying to get arrested. I don't know about Jamie, but I was trying to run away. And But it's a real situation down there, and I'm telling you, I'll look out for the summer. It's gonna be hot because, unfortunately, the police are now doing by anything necessary to suppress the voice, and they're doing illegal stuff. And you can't rile up young black kids who believe in justice and peace, and then try to tear them down with injustice. So I anticipate it's gonna be a lot of news stories this summer.
Wow. So, no time like the present, huh?
Let's give it. Well, that's all we got right now. We got to go. Shouts out to everybody trying to get it now.
So what kind of infractions will they charge you with? I mean,
yeah. Oh, I got charged with disturbing the peace and resisting arrest. Which I basically I was walking away backwards. They sprayed me in the face with mace. I was like, "Yo, why'd you spray me? I'm walking backwards." There was no warning for arrest, and they just said, "Get him," threw me on the ground. And in Ferguson, I've been the big homie protecting people. And so I was shocked to have gotten arrested, and sort of pissed because I spent my whole life trying not to get arrested.
Did everything.
Yeah, they had to print you and everything. I was like, man, it's terrible, man. It's terrible that's what they do to our people. But it inspired me to fight back more.
Well, thank God for you, man. And I think there's a way that we can leverage that energy. I was really looking at what happened in Baltimore, and also in Philadelphia and different places. It's kind of popping up, and so I do value the energy of the young people. I just think that we just got to fit. That's why whatever we do has to be multi-generational.
Exactly.
We have to value the energy and harness the energy of our young people. And one of the things that has been missing in this movement is respect and value for each other. Mm-hmm. Where now we're kind of, the divide is now where, you guys are just you don't want to do anything. You're comfortable. You're set. The older people, and then the young people are really brazen, risk takers.
You're being nice when you said brazen.
Yeah, well, and I think one of the things that the older people will say was that we want to make sure that you're not some martyr. Mm-hmm. It's nothing, to me, ain't nothing glorified in a martyr. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Unless somebody can tell me what death looks like after death, then I can. Mm-hmm. I don't mind being a martyr.
That's right.
You follow what I'm saying? But I don't want to be the burden for. I know so many people that lost their lives in the 70s. So many people lost their lives, either physically lost their lives or they're incarcerated for the rest of their life.
Right.
And now we look at, from the 70s, we look at almost 50 years, 45 years later, they still in prison.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man.
That ain't cool to me.
Because it's the only time I ever hear you be like this quiet and soft spoken is when you get on here with Rahim. You be like, yeah,
you gotta
man.
just shut up and listen.
Yeah,
Catch
man,
it.
let's do it. Yeah, man, let's do it. So I want to encourage everyone to stay tuned. Very soon you will be hearing a save the date. It's not about one organization. It's about many and multiple organizations coming together. We will be giving out that information very soon. You'll be getting it social media, email, radio, print. It's time for us to come together and start putting this Milwaukee community of leaders together. I would be remiss and might not get my check if I do not mention also that Universal Academy for the College Vow is currently enrolling for the fall. You guys, I'm so excited. We are almost, our cultural center, they just sent me, did you get that rendering that I sent you of the cultural center, Rain? The cultural center is coming together. It will be opening soon at our Webster campus. We are enrolling at all 4 campuses, but we are especially looking for students for the new community school, Lee, UACB Lee, on 9th and Meineke. Lee has been a cornerstone in our community. Some of all the great people in Milwaukee attended Lee. Did you attend Lee?
No.
Biko? Oh, no. Okay. I didn't either. I'm not going to say where I attended because Rahim always makes fun of me. So anyway, we want to encourage you to go to uacb.org to enroll your students or find
Does
out when
everybody
there's
know what
open houses.
UACB mean?
Universal Academy for the College Bound.
Okay.
I just said that.
All right.
And if you want more information, you can call 439-5606, or you can also visit universalcompanies.org, where all of our schools are listed, and find out a little bit about our organization and what it is that we do and have been doing now. Schools, it's been since 99, right?
Yeah. Our first school was 1999.
Yes. So schools since 1999, but the organization has been around for 25 years. And that says something about a black company, a black owned, not just black owned, black managed, black operated.
That's right.
Black, every layer down. 25 years. And Rahim you won't hear him talking about this ever, if very much. But I think it says a lot for a company to be around for that long and to be expanding, to not be looking at, okay, well, we've done the work that we're going to do and we're done, but to be looking to expand. And I just think that it's a blessing for our city that Universal came here. It wasn't an overnight decision. It was many years in the making and happening. When we go and meet with people, Rahim's like, yeah, I met you back in 19 or 2000 or whatever when I was here. So this has been a process, and you have to lay the foundation for any process.
That's right.
Of what we're going to do. So we are here. We're expanding. We want you to come be a part of our family. We're hiring.
Yeah, you're definitely good if you hiring in 2015.
We're hiring. Please go to our website, uacb.org or universalcompanies.org, and find out we are hiring. We're hiring, I believe, at all of our campuses, but I know especially at the Lee campus. But I think the last time I spoke to the leadership team, they're hiring at all of the campuses now. So we're creating jobs.
Well, that's one of the most things I'm most proud about, that we was talking earlier off the mic about. This is all really about economics. Education, no question. We have to success for us is if I can create a cohort of young people who are as conscious as this brother here, then I know we done kick some serious butt.
I can retire.
Well, they're gonna put you out. Don't worry about that. No.
It's gonna be like the Eskimos. Y'all gonna send me out to.
But what it really is about is that we have to create a bench. We have to create a team where we have a starting group, and then we have a bench, and then we have a pipeline of people who are ready to come in and assume responsibility. So education, community development, community management, organizing, all of that is part of it, is to address the massive, we got many disparities, but the one that's most crippling for us in America is the economic disparity.
Yep.
And we got to be able to address that. So there's no bigger transformational from an individual perspective is a good job.
Exactly.
And so so I'm most proud about that. And some of the people we hire, I don't think we'll be getting the shot. We have 4 principals now that were many of them were first-time. All of them were first-time principals. So we gave them a shot.
She was a principal.
Okay. Well.
Okay.
So
I apologize.
3 of the 4. But the bottom line is that that's not our issue. We don't look at somebody and say, okay, well, tell me your credentials, your background, and your pedigree and all of those nonsense. Look, what's your heart look like?
Right.
You know what I mean? What did your heart look like? Tell me what your heart looked like. Show me what your example of your heart looks like, and that's what drives and motivates us. And then you get on our team. Our team is the black team, and I have no problem.
It definitely is the black team.
I have no problem talking about that. We need our own team, and we've got to build now. We got to build our reserves. We got to build our bench. We got to have all these things being addressed. And they all going through the same needle, which is the the economic one. That's where it really matters.
Yep, that's the only way it's going to actually make a difference and change lives. And that's what I love about Universal's tagline: improving communities and changing lives. Did you come up with that?
You know what? I was against that, but you know what? We had another tagline for years, and one day I came back. They had this.
Improving communities, changing.
But
lives?
no. They
Oh.
actually had this. What do they call it? Like when people come together. And
A
Market
focus
test.
group. Focus
yeah,
group.
like a focus group, right? I says, what focus group? And they came out and they talking about we're going to change this and change that. I said, look. Who's going to do the work? That's all I want to concern about. Who's going to do? But you know what? Over the years, it's
grown
kind
on
of and I've kind of embraced it. And but
You don't get no improving communities, changing lives.
and I think that at the end of the day, that's what it's all about.
That's fine.
Well, Biko, thank you for joining us.
I
Thank
thank
you.
you too, brother.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate you.
You know, anytime. Tony, our ride or die, is with us, capturing the movement. Rahim, they'll see you. They're going to have some type, it ain't going to be color. It's going to be something else in the future. They're going to be like, man, who was that guy? There was a camera following him around.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be like 3D.
No.
Holograms.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, I my next move, I'm gonna get my own theme music. Like, see, I got in mind. See, you guys might have something different in mind, but I got Blazing Saddles in mind.
Oh,
see,
okay.
See, yeah, I know I'm going to left field here.
Hey, that was to left.
But
I wasn't expecting that.
Blazing Saddles. My man had his own theme music. He had Count Basie and everything in there.
That's what's going to happen when you walk in there.
Nah, I'm joking.
Let me
But no, I definitely appreciate everybody has been a part of it. Tony's been. People wondering, well, damn, who was that guy taking all those pictures?
And why is he
and
on
one of the things that I think that we're doing, we're making history. And so I believe that we're making history. We're going to change it. We're going to change, and they're going to look back on this day in 2015 and 2014. They're going to say, well, what happened? And they're going to say, what happened? Here's some pictures. Here's some video. This would change it. And we wouldn't have known that our contribution will be alive.
I say. Thank you again, Keon. Thank you, Rahim, for allowing me to co-host with you.
And
It is a
thank you,
pleasure.
Mr. Jones, my main man, for all of his guidance and everything and his support.
Okay, until Friday. Peace.